Good morning. We are now with lecture 9. In lecture 8, I have discussed incident investigation and data. Today we will be discussing inspection and audit data, and this is under module 2, creation of safety database. So what are the concepts you will be learning? What is inspection and what is audit, what is the process of inspection and audit, and what does it mean by workplace inspection, a methodology for conducting workplace inspection, then from workplace inspection how the safety data will be captured. Okay. So some definition. Definition, first one is inspection. So it is basically determination of conformity to specified requirements. Now as one useful example could be suppose the operating procedure, safe operating procedure. When you are observing some people doing their job, then whether they are conforming the requirements as per the laid down operating procedure or not. So that's why we are saying conformity to specified requirements. For any job or any operation, there are set procedures and that you have to follow, and obviously there is flexibility, but that flexibility should not bring any unsafe issues. So when you do not follow the required procedures, then you are not conforming to the requirements. And purpose of inspection is to see that it is happening. Audit, on the other hand, is a systematic, independent and documented process for obtaining objective evidences and evaluating it objectively to determine the extent to which audit criteria are fulfilled. So there are overlaps definitely between inspection and audit from the purpose point of view. But when we say audit, it is that basically statutory audits are, we usually understand that statutory audit and compliance audit kind of things. So okay, whether the things are well set or not, all the risk control systems are well in place or not, this is one kind of audit. And then suppose the risk control systems are in place, but whether they are followed or not, so that is compliance kind of thing. So in brief, this is what is basically inspection and audit, but definitely those who are very much knowledgeable in this particular part, who are conducting workplace inspection or site inspection and doing audit of for different purposes, so they all know that this is very minimal basic I talked about. So you see that this is a vast one. My purpose here is not to tell you that what is inspection and audit and what are the different gamuts of all audit and inspection. Rather, I am always trying to tell you that from this kind of program, how to gather data. So, as I said that audit is an information gathering and evaluation activity. What Tanya Moll in 2006-3, she has explained that to identify the sources of risk, evaluate the health of organizational culture, and measuring the achievement of strategies and in the production productive safety management. In the production, I think productive safety management, okay, of plant. Okay, So, some examples like workplace inspection, high risk control program, job cycle check, contractor safety audit. These are some common programs you all might have known this thing. Particularly if you are from industry that you know, if you are a student, you are knowing it, and if you Google it, you get little more information related to this, each of the things. Now I will discuss workplace inspection methodology, and this one basically taken from the source, again the project. The project was basically funded by Government of India as well as that large steel industry. I am not naming, but I acknowledge their contribution in developing this methodology. So here suppose I am talking from inspection point of view, visit and observe the workplace. If immediate remedy is possible, take immediate action and log the details, else log visit and observation details and notify to section manager. So maybe you can entrust your employee to do this. Then prioritize the observed event based on injury and risk potential, and propose, implement corrective actions within stipulated timeline on the observations. So that means little higher level person will be doing, maybe section manager will be doing. So what actually we are saying, that employee suppose entrusted to observe, visit the workplace and observe the workplace, maybe from unsafe acts and unsafe conditions point of view, and based on the observation, because they may be working at that place, they know what is to be done, or they are experienced of similar work or functionalities, then immediately what they will tell, they know what is to be done. And so obviously if there is any immediate remedies possible, they have to take action, and that actions also that need to be entered into the system, or it needs to be documented. Okay, suppose immediate action is not required, or the action actually required some team effort, so obviously it should go to the higher level, and the employee's role is that basically notify this, prepare the document and notify to higher level. Once it is notified to the next higher level, the next higher authority job is that prioritize the events. Okay, how do they prioritize? Prioritization can be based on the risk, based on the consequence, many other way. Here I am saying injury or risk potential point of view, it can be prioritized because it is an inspection. Thus nothing has happened. During inspection, you are finding out that this kind of situations are there, unsafe acts or unsafe conditions or some other hazard related issues are there, and but it's a risky one. Then immediately you have to form a team and you have to ultimately arrest that this will not aggravate further. So after that, what will happen? Step 3. In the step 4, the safety professional may come into picture, verify whether the corrective measures are implemented properly or not. If yes, close the observation, else notify that concerned person, here maybe the section manager, that okay, you please take care, it is not implemented. Now obviously all those things will not take infinite amount of time, because time is very precious. The hazard identification, hazard removal, okay, so this is very important part from the safety management point of view. Hazard identified but not removed within a specified time, then it ultimately create high entropy risk, and which ultimately will lead to incident or accident. So as a result, a time will be mentioned. Now if things are not happened within the stipulated time, then what is required, basically the requirement is that authority who is entrusted to do this, he has to inform to the higher level. It is some amount of escalation is required, because safety and health of people at work is a very, very major issue. We cannot ignore. So our process should take care of this. The inspection process should take care of this. Then as I told you that simply that, then again repeat step 2 means prioritize this and propose the corrective actions with the stipulated time on the observation and notify to the section manager or the authority who is responsible for this. Then as I told you earlier, these 7 steps in the head is responsible, and then next step in the 8th number of step is basically implement corrective action, notify safety professional for verification, and then again you repeat step 4. If things doesn't materialize, so there will be a procedure, there will be a system, that means it will be notified to maybe the higher level to higher level to higher level, and ultimately what actually required, it requires that the entire process is working or the inspection is working properly, all the inputs are correctly set, all the actions and activities are correctly set and executed, and then only ultimately the inspection, workplace inspection is a risk control system. This risk control system will work properly. So that means this process will help you in identifying, if you know all the steps, this will help you in identifying the leading indicators. At the same time, these steps will help you in identifying the lagging indicators. Okay, so we are extremely thankful to that organization, the plant, who has helped us in preparing this and developing this kind of steps from the workplace inspection point of view. So, and as safety is the big issue, you cannot compromise from the safety point of view. So it is always better if the safety organization should be chaired by the top authority, because the commitment from the top is extremely important. If top is committed, as I told you earlier, that 50% work is done, then ultimately the lower level authorities, they will obey this, they will try they will be highly motivated and they will be doing their best. So this is one of the important part of it, and I am telling you, we are talking about from workplace inspection point of view. Similarly, the audit process will be stepwise, can be developed, and you also can set the responsibilities for different steps, or other way I can say the different tasks and activities, and there should be some kind of communication between one responsible person to another responsible person, top down and bottom up. This kind of things are also required. I am not focusing on here that inspection, workplace inspection is done or not only. I am talking about workplace inspection, or as such any inspection, maybe machine, only machine inspection or a site inspection, all those inspection, you have to think it is a risk control system and it's a process. Process model talks about inputs, controllable factors, outputs, and also some kind of noise which are beyond control. So if you want to implement this, you must have a methodology, you must have a organizational structure for that particular risk control system, from design, from its operation, maintenance, your execution, agile evaluation and monitoring point of view. I am not discussing again each of the steps here because these are similar things, but the right hand side you see the flowchart is given. The flowchart basically talking about how each of the steps are interlinked and what is the sequence of steps, which one should be done first followed by the second one. For example, Yes, suppose here you just see the we started from 1 and then there is a decision, then whether based on the decisions taken, you are either you are closing or you are basically following the path. And the similarly here A and B we have given, and then if you go to the next slide, you see that we started again A and then all the steps we are following one after another, and again at 9 there is another decision block, and then based if it is yes you are closing it, if it is no you are going to 9-2, and then in the process again 10 there is a decision block. So wherever there is decision block, a diamond block, so there is 2 branches, one is the decision taken or decision not taken, and accordingly the outcome is generated, and based on the outcome you are basically following the sequence, and ultimately the totality is captured. And once this kind of things are completely done, so can you even not imagine that how you are getting data? You are getting lot of data. It is not that you are inspecting only one workplace. There are many places, many jobs, many equipment, many things you will basically inspect. It is not that only one group is inspecting. There are many groups they are inspecting. It is not that only one time inspection. There will be several inspection. So if I multiply all those things, the number of location, number of times, number of people, and all those things, so it's enormous number of observations are created, and all those observations in terms of basically that I can say the instances. So all those instances set basically certain footprints, or certain I can say some kind of patterns, and that pattern you want to recognize after analytics. Once this kind of data comes, then only you will be able to use analytics, and you can go for using that I can say inspection analytics. If I say workplace inspection analytics, that is also possible. So I have given some elaborate discussion on the methodology. Now the sole purpose of having this methodology is not only that you identify hazards and the unsafe acts conditions, all those things, performance of risk control system, and take corrective action, and so that the hazard will not basically remain there, it should be removed. These are the main purpose from the professional's point, industry professional point of view, for the short term gain point of view. But if you all want the long term gain, you have to document it. Because why should I not have inspection data for a particular place when the several inspection has taken place? My first inspection followed by second inspection, I should see that what actually happened previously. So then the team who will inspect tomorrow, they have lot of understanding about this particular place. So that means it is not a short term phenomena, it has long term utility. So if we properly document the inspection data. So what are the minimum variables that should be captured? It is similar to that work incident investigation data, but incident investigation is a reactive one. Means some incident has taken place, and you have basically observed how that has taken place, and what should have been done so that this could have not taken place, and accordingly you basically doing so that repeat accident will not take place. But here it is not like this. Here it is a proactive data. Before any incident has taken place, you want to see that the workplace is safe. So what are the observations? So observation number, again where means location, when, date and time, then what kind of observations, is it unsafe act, safe act, unsafe condition, safe condition, many other. I think you will find out that there may be some kind of behavioral observations also required, some kind of unsafe conditions depend on the machine, what kind of machines or what kind of processes are being used there, those things, so you have to collect. Then potential incident path which actually not captured probably many of the times. What I am saying, the incident path what we have described in earlier classes. So when I am inspecting, so why can't I do little more brainstorming after the inspection with my team, so that the incident path can be potential incident path can be documented there also. This is very important, because how it is important? Suppose I have done workplace inspection in a particular location, and from there you have different potential incident path you have created. Obviously you don't want the incident to happen, so preventive measures you will take and incident will not happen. By chance an incident happened, then again you do the incident investigation, and when you make the incident path again based on the whatever incident has taken place, so then you will find out that from the workplace inspection whether this incident path was understood before the incident has happened or not. If not, that means that is another kind of problem. So that means the workplace inspection was not done correctly. But if you find out that yes, the similar potential incident paths were already described in the inspection report, but even then it has happened, that means you have not taken the corrective action properly what was given there. So this makes your safety management system vibrant. You will feel that you are doing something good for the society, something good for the people who are basically working for your organization. And the students, please keep in mind that you have major role here. Today you are student, tomorrow you will be taking some responsible paths, responsible positions. So don't forget these things, and data collection, and everywhere you try to think that how to collect data, what data is relevant, what kind of information should not be ignored, what can be ignored, something like this, and that kind of culture you have to create. So okay, so then observation categories, like we are saying PPE in clothing related, position of person, reaction of person, orderliness, rules, procedures, and then what is the risk potential? Risk potential in the sense, basically we are talking about potential risk because it's an inspection. The hazards, unsafe acts, unsafe conditions are such that it may lead to some kind of some amount of risk. So that also you can quantify, maybe qualitatively or quantitatively. Obviously, some description will be there about the observation, what you observe, because many a times the categorical description, categorical inputs will not give you total satisfaction, that maybe something you will miss. So then brief description is required, and also action taken, implementation is there. By saying this, I am not saying that other part is not important. Okay, other part means I am not saying that process related, job related, technology related, human related, all those informations are also equally important. And whenever you are doing inspection, whenever you are getting the opportunity, whatever required, you try to capture as maximum as possible, but don't forget the minimum part of it. If you want to predict accident, the incident path or accident path elements is a must. And second, the effectiveness and weakness of the risk control system must be understood and documented, and so that the data you will have a database which actually have the useful information that will help you in doing lot of analytics. Predictive analytics is one of them. Predictive analytics. Prescriptive analytics is another major issue. So it is possible only when you are basically having this kind of database. So I am focusing more on database creation. Now if you see the table, actually I have put here the same thing what is in the previous slide, but here it is in the Excel format, data format, or I can say that two-dimensional array format. because by structured data we mean that it's a two-dimensional array, and whenever there is brief description, so you please understand the brief description is not a part of the structured data, even if it is within the two-dimensional array. So obviously location, time, potential incident path, then risk potential, observation category, brief description, action taken, all those things are there. Okay, so it is very difficult to include maybe all the important variables, but again for every time, for all the important variables are not available or present at that particular situation, and in that case what will happen, most of the time you think that this is not, or we think that this is not relevant, this is relevant, and that basically creates lot of missing data. Basically I will discuss about missing data later. Suppose this is the minimum table required. When we are preparing the data from the inspection, suppose some of the fields we are not filling with a thought that okay, what is the need of this, this is some, anyhow this is not important. So that will create lot of blank cells, and based on my experience, what I have observed by doing this safety analytics for a large amount of inspection data, I found that for some of the fields, some of the variables, that are huge blank spaces. That means no data is available. So it gives a false impression that we have huge amount of data. Okay, it is not that. We don't have huge data. If there are in one variable which may be a very significant variable but doesn't have that amount of information, many of the cells are blank, then effectively the data quality is reduced. Okay, so we will discuss the data quality issue, missing data handling issues and all those things, but slowly we will come to all those things. Okay, again I must talk about the safety analytics project, what actually help us in understanding and documenting these concepts, as well as giving you some kind of useful information which you definitely will be using for your benefits. So what are the learning today in this class? We discussed about inspection and audit. Although audit part, from the safety audit point of view, statutory and compliance of audit point of view, we have not discussed. We discussed mostly on the workplace inspection. From the visit and observation point of view, we have basically discussed. We have discussed about the methodology, means how the inspection should be carried out, and what are the different steps of inspection, and what kind of decisions someone has to take, and who are the stakeholders for each of the task, which and how the communication from the one stakeholder to another stakeholder will be made with certain feedback loops. That also I have discussed. And finally I talked about that what could be the important attributes, variables or features that should be captured and documented, and what could be a probable template for a Excel data sheet. Okay, in the process we also discussed about we have discussed about the proactive data and reactive data. Proactive workplace inspection is proactive data, proactive measures, and it gives you proactive data, whereas incident investigation is a reactive measure and it gives you reactive data. So with this I thank you all for your kind listening to the subject, and these are the references. Two important references is the thesis by one of my student, and another one is the project work what we have done. These are all unpublished, so I cannot help you in giving the project, but some of the papers already published, and there some of the information you will get. And apart from this, from the safety engineering knowledge point of view, if you found any problem, you go through my NPTEL lecture on industrial safety engineering, that will help you. Thank you very much.